All right, fellas, we back and a little interesting change that I made. Um, Before I get started, I want to kind of just double check, see I can go. Thinking about switching resistance for all day and then taking protected off the quarterback. Just seeing if I can do it first. I should be able to. So I can put it here. There's two linemen that can get it. Got to kind of choose between omniscient. He can get it, but I have to choose between omniscient. And I can put omniscient there. I can put it on him. I can put it on him at the cost of losing Nasty Streak. So it's kind of like pick your poison type shit. But I definitely can do that. And that'll give me 1 AP back. I can take protected off. And I could run if I put conductor on him. If I did that for free. Well, it depends, because for additional hot routes, so I'm still spending same on the quarterback regardless, because I'm getting protected for free. So I think we'll rock with it like that. I just wasn't sure. There's no point in me swapping all days if I get protected for free. I'm just trying to see if there was something I could do to kind of gain a point. Obviously, I'll probably need to upgrade a right tackle, and really don't want to take all the stacks I got off McFadden, but I think that's what we'll rock with for right now. Um, One more check. 25, so I need one Raider to get the extra strength. So I could probably go with like a backup quarterback. I could put a receiver and a corner for depth. Probably do is we'll do this. We'll go 49ers. If I can get like a Michael Crabtree or something. Shit. I think Vernon Davis is an upgrade. It's Jukebox. It's Leapfrog. Spend 2 AP and have Vanguard on them at all times. Interesting. You get red zone threat there. Obviously those cost too much. Probably you can get all day on your fucking tight end. Can you get secure protector? What's the point of putting all day on? I think. I hate when it does that. It's intriguing. Okay, so he gets secure for 3. That's a little too expensive. He has some pass blocking. I mean, it's good, but to an extent. You'd have to spend a lot of AP on him. I'm not really looking at him for anything other than I don't want to spend that much on a fucking 95. So probably call that. Go look at my next team. Probably go for Quentin Mitchell next. Makes sense. The Eagle receiver. Doing no good with 46 strength. Definitely need to get that Genty card. Hendricks would be nice. Steve Masterson, but usually those cards you need to fill fucking champions, they don't got no good buckets. Probably revisit and get Lester Hayes as a cornerback. He's not very fast, but in the red zone, he could be useful. I will say that. Worth noting. So might just go with Team Diamond. I don't know who the Eagles Team Diamond is. I think it was the Deshaun Jackson. I sit on it for a sec. Ugh. There's the restroom right here. Gotta go, gotta go.
For a guy that's something to feel.
Alright, sorry about the fellas.
Feel that energy. It's great being around him, so I'm just glad to be back in this building, with all these great people.
Yeah, you talk about coming back to the building, right? We heard the story about you winning the basketball shootout the other day, and really like that to me feels like Peter in a nutshell, right? Like since we've gotten to know Peter in the past couple of months, competition is at the core of everything that he does. Now competition at the core of everything that this organization does. Like how much does that excite you to be in an environment where everything you do, not just you, but the 90 guys on this roster is going to be at competition and getting better?
Nah, it's very exciting. I love to compete. Competing is everything, and I'm probably one of the most competitive people you ever be around. So I think you could see that, and especially when I was putting up them shots. So I think that sealed the deal, really.
Yeah, 100%. And, we talked about Pete's history with the running back and making it, as efficient and effective as he's done in his history. But Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, too, has taken a lot of really good backs and taken them to the next level, obviously, like what he did last year at Ohio State. Like, just your thoughts on kind of getting to link up with Chip in this way, to have a chance to work with him, to collaborate with him, and to really get this ground game going.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. He's a great history. He's a running back, so, I'm going to play at a high level, so I'm excited to be the next one and, just get to work and merge the offense.
One thing that really stood out to me in hearing Pete talk was he said, a lot of what your job is going to be in the backs in general, right, is to make life easier for Gino. When you kind of hear that and you kind of look at the running back position in general, so not just you, but the guys in that room, like, how is it to make the quarterback's life easier, on a game day?
Yeah, that's really cool. Pulling those defenders down, so that we can, have a better passing attack. But also just to take some pressure off the quarterback. And I think even another aspect of protecting them when they are passing the ball.
We heard Max. We saw on social yesterday. Max so excited when it was announced that you were the pick. Like obviously Max in the best way is just like a different kind of dude, right? Like he's a competitor, a guy that is really seamlessly kind of fit with Peter's experience with in Vegas now. Like how excited are you to get a chance to go toe to toe with Max in all aspects, but to kind of just see a guy like him work regular?
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a great person to watch and learn from. But I heard he's a real trash talker, so playing against him, in practice every day.
Do you trash talk? You get after it on the field?
I get after it. It depends on who it is. But usually I like to just stay focused. We
were going back and reading a bunch of some of the stories from your team in Boise, and obviously we heard from you in the presser earlier today about just the importance of relationships and how that has carried you your entire life on the field and off the field. And I thought it was interesting you talked about the importance of relationships on a football team. And I'm kind of just curious, like, how you, as a rookie coming in, highly drafted dude, come in and say, like, this is how I want to kind of cultivate the relationships with my teammates.
I think it's connection. So, the running back won't get connected with those guys who'll be around the most. The running back coach. That's lucky, but I feel that, from all the teams that I can go coach with, everybody's connected. Like, the better you guys play together on the field, and keep growing those relationships on the field, and everybody's going ready to go with battle for each other on the football field.
Really, I think it's, maybe the past year or so, like, it's kind of felt like there's this movement of the running back coming back, right? You look at what Saquon did, like Derrick Henry, what he did, obviously, the highest drafted running back in a minute now. Like, what is it about this moment that football's having right now where it does kind of feel like there's a re-emphasis to running the football controlling the line of scrimmage?
I think, like you said, like the running back, when it stops for service, I think, everybody's realizing, how valuable it is to, have a guy with that X factor in your backfield, it's making your quarterback strong. easier, but it's going to help you win games and put teams away before quarter.
And speaking of that X Factor, I saw a video last night where it was you can hit either at or behind the line of scrimmage. It's like a 4-minute video, right? You can hit at the line or at or behind the line of scrimmage, and then you go for 6 yards, 7 yards, 75 yards, whatever it is. Like, it's the key to just dominating in yards after contact.
I think it was, some work, just obviously workouts with the enemy. But it's also just the mentality of not letting anybody take you down. Like the first man is never going to tackle you. Really just be versus the limit. Nobody can stop you.
We've heard so much about the toughness, the elusiveness, and how smart you are in terms of picking up a playbook, all that. But, like, what's the area of the game that, like, we're not talking about enough? Like, the area that you're like, hey, man, I can do this, that, and the other, but, like, don't sleep on me here.
Yeah, I think for me, it's wide receiver. I think some people see it, but this year, this past year, I didn't get to show it as much just because of where the offense was. But I am a great pass catcher. I'm a great route runner, so I'm excited to get in this offense. And that's like,
one thing I thought was pretty cool to talk about all the time here is that history is such an important part of everything that this organization is about. Right? You look at the pictures on the wall, earlier today, like I'm just curious, a young dude like you coming in, like, can you kind of feel that sense of history and the sense of like why it is so important for this place?
Yeah, you can definitely feel it. Walk around, seeing the facility, seeing all the legends. 3 Super Bowl MVPs here today. So there's just a lot of history, a lot of great people who came through here, but they also still have a presence and a great alumni here.
It's fun to go too. Like, obviously, you had parents here with you here, and we saw all those great shots from Green Bay last night. Like, why was it so important to have your family with you as you kind of go through this pretty exciting adventure?
Yeah, because my support system, whether things go good or bad, I'm rush for throwing it. If I rush for negative yards, they need to be there to support me each and every way. It's helped me so much along this journey. So to share that moment together, finally accomplishing my dreams that they helped me get to was amazing.
And as before I let you go, for someone who maybe didn't watch a lot of Boise State football last year, for someone who is a Raiders fan but maybe not a college football fan, like, what should they expect from Ashton Dale in 2025?
Man, everything. As far as like, obviously I've been doing great things, but it's super exciting to watch me on the field. I'm ready because it's going to be a movie every week.
And we can't wait to watch the feature film. Well, hey, congratulations on so much happening. Good to see you and the family. Congratulations, man. We'll see you on the Silver Black.
Jack's here with a breakdown of our new loaded fried chicken bowl. It's got hand-breaded chicken fingers, crispy bacon, buttered corn, and mashed potatoes topped with white pepper gravy. Talk about a winning combination. Jack's number one.
To try and throw through contact in short distances. As he throws there, incomplete. Tough series from the passing game. Things just aren't clicking. Hoping they come through on this play and get this series back on track with a completion for enough yardage for a first down. Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions.
Buddy, this is Hondo Carpenter from here at Raiders headquarters. The draft just concluded. John Spytek and Brandon Yergin just spoke to us. That video is up that you can go watch. And now they're working the phones, getting your UDFA classes together. In case you're wondering, Monday's big podcast is going to be dedicated to the UDFA scouting reports, breakdowns, all of that information that you want to know. What an incredibly deep draft. I can tell you, very, very deep draft. And we have this, and there are several, multiple players. A lot, I don't have an exact number, I will give it to you, but a very large number of guys who had draft grades. These are guys the draft that are still available as UDFAs. After the draft, during the draft, of course, I'm texting my friends who are executives around me, and one of my friends said, I don't remember a draft in my career with this many guys with draft grades available as UDFAs. So it's not even over yet. The Raiders are going to see 50 UDFAs around the hunt. I want to give a big thank you before we get started to Mark Davis. Incredibly generous with the media. We are not entitled to it. He is not obligated to, but he fed us all weekend. Spared no expenses. Great prime rib. Alaskan crab leg.
Set to begin their next drive. And with time quickly fading here in the second
He does it at a very high quality level. He does not have to do this. I have covered many teams, and the vast majority do not even come close to feeding the media during the draft at the level that he does. It's extremely appreciated. And if I had to leave the lead, I just would. And probably missing some meals would not be bad for me. But I personally, we're not entitled to it. And I don't care if they brought 17 crackers. I wouldn't eat it in my diet. But the fact that, again, the poll is generous, and I think it's important to live a life of Thanksgiving. In fact, I call it Thanksgiving. And
Can't use cover zero as a run defense, my guy.
Gracious and thankful heart. So to Mark, I salute you. I have a ton of stuff to talk about today. And I hope you stick with me. It's going to be a long podcast, but I know you guys in Raider Nation love the insights, the information, all of it. And there's going to be a ton of it today just on how this draft came together. Now, before we get started today, I want to go back and I want to go over my original, the last thing I did before the draft. I think it was the day before Wednesday. I gave you my top 10 player list, and there were 12 players because I had 3 tied at number 10. And I just want to go back for accountability and talk about it. My number 1 player, Abdul Carter, obviously went super early, didn't go overall, but went super early. Jalen Walker, our number 2 player, like Brock Bowers last year, was one of 3 players that went great. He dropped from 1 to 13. Jalen Walker drops from 2 to 15, an absolute steal of this draft. Unbelievable steal. The Raiders loved him.
Hey, TikTok, it's all over. You get this. Or this. Search all over TikTok. Right now.
The Raiders loved him. Loved him. And they had GT rated higher, but had GT not been there, which on several of my mocks didn't have, several I did, but on several I didn't have GT going down because people didn't think GT was going to make it. Had GT and Mason Graham and Will Campbell. I think the Raiders would have pulled the trigger on Jalen Walker easily. Maybe even. We'll just leave it there, it doesn't matter. But Jalen Walker, 15, steal. Mason Graham, who was a third overall player, he went 3rd. Will Campbell, he had as a 4th overall player, he went 4th. Ashton Jenkins, he had as a 5th overall player. Again, they were all kind of crumbled in there together. He went 6th. Travis Hunter, he had our 6th player, he went 2nd. Armand, he was the best player, he went 7th. Penn State, he was our 8th best player, he went 14th. Campbell, he had his 9th best player, he went 1. O'Brien, he went 1. We had us tied with 3 guys as our 10th best player, 22. I know the Raiders, had they traded back, let's say that they went 9 or 12, I would not have been seated if Mary Hampton was a Raider. They loved him. They liked GT Nova. but it was negligible. She was very close. They went to Mary Hampton. Our 10B, our 11th best player, but still rated as 10. Michael Williams, the edge rusher of Georgia, 11. And Colston Loveland, the tight end from Michigan, who we had again as a 10. He went, I think he sort of extremely accountable to you there. I had a person ask me if I like every player, and no, it was like every player or every pick. But my job is to not sit here and give you my opinion, and my job is to reach out around the NFL and give you opinions. So let me go back, because after the Raiders drafted Tyree Wilson, I told you that this guy, the Raiders absolutely 100% can 100%. He was a dude. They called him a dude. And that's exactly what I reported to you. I had concerns about Tyree because of his injury, because of medical doctors, orthopedic surgeons, who are NFL players, had expressed to me concerns about his injury. But the Raiders medical staff didn't know the word. They would find that they thought it was a deal. Okay? Now I really like the person, and I am going to give them the absolute benefit of the doubt. I always will, unless it's something like a Damon Arnett, where there was such a flood formation anti-Damon Arnett. I mean, those teams that I respect had him do not even draft him. But my philosophy, which is, I'm going to find out what people think. There were a ton of people that gave Tyree an investment his injury, that their medical people cleared him.
I mean, you can't stop it.
And he did play 3 Raiders, not allegedly, the Raiders, basically.
Yeah, learn how to play the game. That sounds like a great idea. You should try it sometime.
And I'm going to take them at their word. They can 100%.
Bitch. Learn how to play the game. Learn how to play the game. Learn how to play the game, bitch. Learn how to play the game. Learn how to play the game. That's called playing football, dumbass. Oh, you fucking noob.
Every one of them won. Did not surprise me in a negative way.
Learn how to play the game, bitch.
I was talking.
It's called football, dude. Running is a part of it. If you can't stop it, then why not? Like, come on, bro. Like, the fuck out of here with that shit. Stop it and I'll pass. Stop it and I'll pass, bitch.
Michael Canelo, Fernando, and
Fucking chess, not checkers, dummy.
a ton of hard
I mean, you ain't stopped it, so why would I stop it? Why? Get good. Have you tried that? You don't know how to get good?
So I picked up 2 hours of sleep, and yesterday, coming into this group, coming in 7 days, so I'm working on the phones. I'm trying to get as much information from NFL teams to find out what they think. Our Sports Illustrated National Desk rated their Raiders draft. I think it was B. I'll go back real quick. Figuring it out real quick. I don't think that I do, but if I do, I'm going to look. But they gave it a B. And I'm going to go through and tell you what I think and tell you what my opinion is. Let me just look real quick. The National Desk.
I will suck you dry in a heartbeat. But drinking your blood would expose the secret of physical power. We'll hit the ground hard. A boot slammed into his ribs before he could catch his breath, flipping him fact. Still standing, huh? Rex sneered, conjuring a fireball in his palm. You should have stayed down. Quinn forced himself up, swinging.
lip was split, his cheek raw. Blood dripping from his nose, the scent hitting him like a punch to the gut. His whole body screamed at him to strike back. One bite, one taste of their blood, and he'd be stronger than all of them combined. But if anyone found out what he really was, they'd kill him. Nothing to say, Rex sneered. As his fist connected with his stomach, pain exploded through it. But it was nothing compared to the hunger gnawing from the inside. Rex tossed him to the ground like a broken dog. Pathetic, he spat. You don't belong here, the others laughed.
National desk. Gave the Raiders a beat. That's what I thought. I'll give you my grade at the end, but I'm going to go through and talk about this. I've already talked at length about the picks up until Charlie ran. I'm still going to talk about them, just not as much as the rest, and how I thought this draft unfolded. So they wanted, there are three things Pete Carroll wanted. And obviously, you want great athletic players. Okay, everybody wants that. But he wanted guys with competitive edge. Guys that just play with that technical. Those guys that just are competitive. You know, I always laughed. Years ago, when I was a little baby. And we had lost a game, and we got our butt kicks pretty good. I don't know when I was sixth grade, and it was one of the parents said, "Okay, let's go down and play. Everybody get so we get my neighbor's car and we're driving home." And I'll never forget this. It was a great lesson my dad taught me. And we're driving home as he did. They're taking us to the Ponderosa, and not the Ponderosa Steakhouse where we live. There was a place called the Ponderosa. The guy from the Manhattan and great home management. And he was, "Son, you just got your butt kicked." And you guys are joking like it doesn't matter. He goes, "I want you to do whatever you care for the face." And never accept those. We're going to go to the police room. You just got your butt kicked. You're not celebrating anything. And all right, he goes, "Take you for 3." So, one, this stuck hurt. I'll never forget that. And if you didn't forget, I went fishing. He brought it up. He said, "Do you remember that?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Son, have you ever heard people talk about you?" I said, "Yeah." Which one day you're going to be a dad, and you're going to be tired and want a day off, but you're going to have to get up and go to work. You should always the family and provide for them. You've had a bad day at work, but you can't take it home because your kids need you to be silly and dangerous. And my dad talked about the only people that don't like sore losers are heels finally. Stop not him. He said, "Show somebody that's okay with losing, and I'll show you what losing."
Doctor trusted treatments in a compound U.S. setting and delivered in discreet package for daily solutions. You can enjoy spontaneous experience. Feel ready to know the time. You can start today. Hills.com.
Really not a large window for him to sneak that throw in.
So Rigoberto Sanchez, the man who
Everyone's chasing feeling a little close.
he sends this away. Oh, this is going to be a field flipper.
He said, show me somebody. That's okay with losing, and I'll show you a loser. And he goes, I want you to be competitive. And in our family growing up, whether it's chess or we had pool table, playing pool, fishing, whatever, we always competed. Pete Carroll wanted, of course, the great athletic athletes. He wants to compete, and then he wanted high quality human beings. You know, several of these guys are academical nerds or means list or academical nerds. You know, the equivalent of the NFL Walter Payton Award when they're just for being guys off the field. Pete Carroll wants to build Raiders with guys that are on it and great quality individuals who come in and live in the community. And these guys are all looking to come here to Vegas. They're going to become members of synagogues or mosques or churches, and their kids are going to go to school with people that live here's kids. And it's great people in the community, super competitive and athletic. So that was the other thing that it gives people this position of flexibility. So Gene, they were thrilled. The next day, though, Jack Bench, I didn't want to talk about until the Bells done. Early on, I had talked about him a lot. This is a guy that they have first rated. Now, let me just tell you this. He dropped one pass last year. He is a great receiver. Plays like a linebacker. Holy see Tresvant Raider him today on this morning. But he is a Jack Bash is a great player. First round grade. And they got him in the second round. And so that's a guy that they thought they still. And I can tell you, they got three.
Take that three like a good little girl.
NFL was picked him.
I like when you say that. Say that again. You called me daddy. I didn't tell you to.
I think there was one I think 4 teams trying to trade to get him. I'm told that the Rams loved him, and when the Raiders were able to snag him, I consider him still. This is along with GT. He's a guy that I think will start games in 2025. Now,
What's up, Raven Pride?
remember this. You expect your first 5 rounds of guys to make your roster. That's what you expect. You expect your first round guy to be a starter. Now, if it's that's not the case, but you expect your first round to be a starter in the first year. You expect second, third round guys to be starters by the end of the year. And
You ain't got no defense, dude. You got no defense. Like, run defense is easy to play. You ain't got no run defense.
Major victory. I think Mesh will start games this year. I have zero doubts about that. Then in the third one, I mentioned Darian Cole. This is a guy that Pete Carroll thought was a Richardson type player. And big shout out to the Raiders stimulus. Pete gets here, and they're showing him stuff like this guy. Pete off with him.
Who cares?
Did not expect
Who
it.
cares?
In the third one. Did not expect it. And that's another guy that's 2 of the first 3 guys. Steals. Guys, they were not expecting him to be available. So the Raiders trade down. Same thing with Jaden Higgins. both of those guys were guys that had influence with the Raiders, and the Raiders
Cool story, bro.
wanted them. They're guys that they like more than celebrities. They will try to, they could have taken the Dairy before, but it was very close. They're very close. So they weren't worried about it. They feel comfortable that they're going to get Dairy. So they're good with that. Same thing, Jake Higgins. And they're like, okay, we feel good because.
That's what you were doing, wasn't it?
Traded down because they thought Jack would be there, especially after they saw who took Higgins. They felt comfortable with it, with a great bench. So again,
Well, what's that make you if you're losing?
picks to steal. Second, third, pick 34, pick 90, Caleb Ruck.
Thank you.
They thought at the time, now I like Rodgers. Okay, I want to make that clear. I like Rodgers. They thought at the time he would never reach him. Okay, so I admit that fully. That was Honda opinion. However, in talking to NFL people, they did not feel reach here at all. One guy said maybe a reach simply a little bit higher.
Thank you.
They had a top of the fourth grade, and they basically get in a.
Thank you.
Here's some words to describe Jack's $6 dinner deals. Southern, hearty, tasty, savory, stupendous. Really, where did you get the idea? We're Jack's, and we're all about the South.
This is Google Pixel 9a with Gemini. Right now it's free at Verizon. Plans starting at $30 line. And this is Nicole asking, where the heck are you? So you're going to use Gemini to text, I love Nicole on the couch. And then rewrite it sound like Shakespeare. Because you're late. But
Dude talking to me on the mic, talking crazy.
Pixel 9a and the use with your pricing guarantee. Plans starting at $30 a month. On Verizon.
In a polo third grade. But everybody I talked to had him as a.
Oh, you gonna leave? Wow.
Now,
You can't deal with it.
I'd say 80% had him as high 4. The others had him as a low 3, so you're right in that window. But
Nah, dude, we're talking crazy on the mic. That's why I kept telling them thank you. But when people start talking trash to you, that means you doing something right. When they get mad, you doing something right. So I always thank my haters, you know.
This is
Call me trash and I'm beating you. Thank you. That means I'm doing something right. Look, I'm 4-0 with this strap, bro. Look at this shit.
perfect. So there you go. And but again,
Can't run no metas on me, bro. You're going to have to play me straight up.
which I did.
You got to open that mindset up. Stop doing that copy-paste bullshit.
Once I get corrected, if teams had him as a low 3, high 4, and that's right, and it wasn't a reach. So Hunter's opinion doesn't matter. I'm just trying to share with you.
Take the Lincoln Tunnel through Weehawken, through
I'm humble, bro.
across the Hackensack River,
And
you'll
back and
arrive as
after
we
these
have it.
guys,
I'm as humble as they come.
Rutherford, New Jersey.
Start talking trash to me, I'm going to thank you because that means I'm doing something right.
Charles, quickly, your
and
keys
he's
to the
backing
game.
down offensive lines.
Turnovers, special teams play.
He will
But here's
just
one that doesn't get talked about much
crush
anymore.
it.
And that's
They
time of
didn't
possession.
consider the sun.
Whoever controls the football,
But very,
takes a
very
defensive
slow.
break, and takes care of business, that's
They
the
didn't
team that's
count
going to win this
a couple
ball game.
of goals.
And it's a pretty good
So
return here
Jim
to
was
get this up to the
They
29.
put up over, he was 35th pick, 99th overall. And they got a guy complete steal. This is a guy with a very high rating. Again, everybody interested in good.
Richardson going right to the air. Rolling to his
It's
Get him, big man.
right. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down.
That's,
A
they were just
effort to get in there and
playing
drop it.
against triumphs.
If they have any thoughts of coming in here and getting this road victory,
That's
that's
trust.
not the way to
This
start
is
it
the
out
kid
on the first play of the game.
Yeah, one thing you always
This
say when you go on the road, take the crowd out
is
of the game. They actually brought the crowd
so
into it, preventing that sack
Just
right out of the
slamming
gate.
down.
And a nice
This
job
is
to break free of one tackle, but it slowed his momentum somewhat, and he's taken down
and
right
even
after.
though he's
So
here
the screen good for only two. Now it's third down.
I will not be shocked. In fact, I'll just and I'm going to keep these films.
Now
So
whistles
it's
come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the
I do think
offense.
Charles Wright was a
They'll
steal,
have two
and
remaining
that would
as
be
we
the
step
third
aside
steal
here in this first
in
quarter.
4 of the first 5 picks. And I do think that he will start
I
games
don't think this is
in
the script they
20,
had in mind
25.
for their opening drive.
I
This
think
is
the
third and
Steelers will start
long.
with 17.
Now it's Richardson.
I think they'll start 10. I think they'll start with switch rules.
Back at the
It's great.
8-yard line.
Then
In there to get him for a loss of 9 yards, and that also leads to fourth down. And the Giants send out their punter now, as his first punt will come from inside his own end zone.
flat 4-3.
He'll take it at the 42.
Easy.
That'll go as a 46-yard punt
Tremendous
with a
hips.
return of 7. And the Jets will take over first and 10.
He's got some work to do on his route tree, but not a reach here at all. This is a guy that, after the season, blew up. Blew up. I'm going to say it right here.
The inaugural carry for Darren McFadden. There's a nice move. He's out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. Good yardage as he rumbles for 24 and a first. Thought they were going to have him down a lot earlier, but he was able to shed that tackle.
Shows the value of the weight room, doesn't it? It shows the value of your attitude when you run the football. Don't go down easily. Break a few tackles, gain some additional yardage.
He's able to break through one tackle, but it slowed him down enough that he could only be
He's just getting very much bigger. Trey Tucker,
on the
the guy's
tackle there, Ray Nitsky, in his heyday,
and very athletic.
before your day, but he was something else.
I'm not in any way saying Trey doesn't make the team, but I do think he will start some games. So you're sitting there.
Rattling running backs, getting after quarterbacks. He wrap his forearms up, and he just hit a big flipper and come up and thump people in the chest. He was an absolute
You're
marvel
looking at
playing in
5
the
guys
linebacker
right there
position, especially right there in the
getting
middle. A
starts.
Hall of Famer in 1978 and deservedly so.
Start. I use those. They're going to start.
From the gun on third down, Fields. Escaping the pressure
That's
right.
basic.
Fields, who has the good mobility, flashes it there as he scrambles for the first down.
He's a talented runner, and that means he's always looking for bigger and bigger gains when he takes off. Certainly found some bonus yards there beyond the first down marker, and this early drive will continue with that extra jolt from his legs.
And to have gotten me today where they
First
got
down,
it,
a run with McFadden.
when he was
And
really
that one
able
brought
to
on quickly,
quality guy.
as he's going to be stopped before he can even get started. Call it a full 3 yards in the wrong direction there. Brings up second down.
And that size and that speed, and all the God-given skills that you want.
And this
He's
throw
not
incomplete.
implying that he
With the
is.
defender all over him
But
that time.
part
It's
of
going
that
to
is
lead
to
to
him.
third down.
It's when it gets really
That
good
sure looked
coaching
like a
here.
nice call by the defense,
And
and they were
this
very
guy has
cohesive in their
the
coverage.
potential.
As soon as they got inside, they broke on the football and met it as the ball got there and forced the
I'll make
incompletion.
sure your cute girlfriend will be screaming my name.
Now on
When he
third
picks
and
himself
long,
up
they'll look to
and fakes
throw.
the 7-foot ball.
Over the middle, complete.
Then
It's
he
Jones.
was the handsome star
He'll be
superhero.
brought down
He
well
tackled
short of the first at about the
He was his
9-yard
worst
line.
nightmare.
They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and it'll be fourth down.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game, but it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. Third down, they gave me underneath stuff. You got to go make the tackle right away.
That is caught, and the Jets are going to have first and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points. Both sides were holding their breath there on that fourth down play, and the offense can breathe a sigh of relief.
And both knew exactly where the first down markers were. You know the defense is trying to guard those sticks and try and keep people in front. But somehow, some way, those guys found a way to pick it up.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage.
But you love to win enough that you love to prepare to win. That's really good.
So they're backed up to the
I'm going to tell you
3-yard
this
line,
about
second and
stuff
goal.
right now. I'm not going to tell this when I talk to him the next time I talk to him. The next time I talk to him
They'll try again.
is
They'll run
I told
again.
him I started saying this is what this thing
Touchdown.
that you're going to give it tools to be a count touchdown height and speed. He was not giving the second quarter. But he has all
So the Jet offense staying on the field. They're going to go for 2.
now, does he have the will and become that? I think he's special.
And he will get in to make it 8-0. They get the conversion, and George, we only have 2 yards to go. What do you think of the toss play? Because initially kind of set you back a little bit.
It does, especially if you get a lot of pressure coming towards you. If you get to the edge and you seal the edge with your blocking on your tackle or your tight end on what they call the play side, where the ball goes, you can get to the corner. Now, the Raiders are big guys to get
I
it
thought it was very funny. Next, the Raiders went down the second and then the first. I thought this game
The other New York offense getting ready for their next drive. They'll be searching to dent the scoreboard for the first time, now down 8-0 as they begin with 1st and 10. And that is incomplete. The coverage a little too good there. And 2nd down.
To get those things and
Richardson looking to throw. Steps away.
they
Get it up a little shy of the 15. They'll spot him down at the 14-yard line. Now from the line here, 9 yards to pick up the first. And Richardson back to throw it. Look in the middle of the field. He's got him there complete. And he will have a Giants first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Richardson looking to throw this. And he takes a shot on the release, and this will be incomplete.
Congratulations to them. They come up with another stop. And let's face it, the secondary, they've gone unchallenged so far in the first half.
Richardson.
He's been 3 to 5. He's been one of the
A minute 55
not really
left to
had
go
a
in the
chance
first half of play.
Now, before I moved to Vegas, I never knew this palm trees.
Jonathan Coachman is standing by. He'll have highlights and analysis of this first half. Richardson out of the shotgun. Flush to his right. And he'll be tackled right on the charge of the 45. A nifty bit of scrambling there. 12 yards, first down.
On 3rd down, the defense decided to blitz. A very good job of recognizing it, stepping away from the pressure, and finding open space to scramble and pick up a first down.
Here's Richardson to throw.
Should have been shot. They kept the weight John
Richardson under pressure, and down he goes. Now the Giants will use the second of their 3 timeouts.
Here's why. It's not had an opportunity to set points. You can almost use the jack on trains master. He has the tools to master something. It's just he's been used everywhere because of one team's design. I think this may be like his son had taken him in this general's as well.
A lot of tight ends just use their
I know
size and
that
their
you
strength
say
to
it
occupy
looks like
space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his football.
I was talking and it just was
It's a loss of a full 3 yards.
because they've done a lot of things great. That wasn't his fault because
What's up, Will? Got him! TJ Watt with the key.
He'll take it across midfield
and fell on friction. Played a ton of different instruments.
Well, that's a drive killer
I
right
said,
there. Not a
you're such
really
a
confident
great
throw.
musician.
Oh, don't quit, bro. We just getting started.
I can play a lot of instruments and breeze.
My goodness.
But I've never just stuck with one to become incredible. That always stuck with me. It always stuck with me. And it sticks with me a ton. So next, we come to the next guy that I think was a steal. This is the 5th steal of the draft. And when I say
Season complete.
guys, and
In the playoffs. I think we did pretty good.
This is a guy that J.J. McGee's the defensive tackle. He's 330 pounds. He's played quarterback in a wildcat situation. I mean, the guy dives over piles like really Sims. And if you're too young to know
EA
who
Sports
it is,
coverage of the National
don't
Football
serious on my
League
email.
brings us to the Bay
Just
State
really
in
Sims
Massachusetts.
diving over the top.
Welcome to
There's
Gillette
guys
Stadium in Foxborough.
get your back guy.
Good to have you with
Like
us, Mike Tirico and Greg Olson with you.
flying
You know,
through
partner,
the air.
fantasy football doesn't take into account
It's all get this.
the guys the line of scrimmage.
Recorded.
This is one where
Turns
all
off.
guys are going to be
Flying
focused on
through
that battle
the
in
air.
the trenches all game long.
Like
Doesn't
Carter
matter if it's Pee Wee football, middle
That's
school
a heavy
football,
nickname
or
and a
NFL football. You can only do
77.
Boy, just bouncing off tackles.
allows you to do. And I think that's exactly the case for both of these teams
Big
here today.
push.
They are going to win or lose
Love
based
this.
on the ability
Now,
of gaining an advantage in the offensive defensive
Raiders
line.
thought
So
because
I think we're going to see
upside
downhill
that
run
Tonga
game. I think we're going to see play
was
action
to be there.
pass.
They
Team that's
thought
able
there was
to
a
impose
chance
their
the
will
Keys may
along
fall
the
and just
trenches.
work
I
with
think
playing
that's
help.
going to be the team that finds
So
himself
they
on
took
the
a big risk.
coming out with the win.
They took a big risk and it paid off.
Great way for the defense to open up here at home.
This
Don't
defense wanted to come out early in this game and
they
take
did
to the
back-to-back
offense.
DTs,
Boy,
but
did
they
set the
rolled
tone
the
on the
dice
very
here,
first play,
and
giving that
they
carry
didn't
to
think
no
he
gain.
would be there. Just didn't. So they rolled the dice with Tonga's outside, and it's huge from Tonga. No complaints. Things coaching. Okay. And then, but they go get Big East, who in some fullback situations, you know, the fullback got really much.
Let's go Bowers.
But he's a very defensive tackle. He's just played it hard to get the message to fullback. He has played it with heart and precision. And they think Robbie Leonard and Tonga. No, I'm biased. I think Robbie Leonard's the best defensive line coach in all of the National Football League. And a lot of people agree with me. In fact, I'm in a big article before training camp about Robbie Leonard coaches him. I got a lot of info books from that guy. Love me some Robbie Leonard. But you get those two guys, Tonga and Big East. It's so special. And guys now solidify that defensive tackle. Or you got it. You have Butler, you have Christian, and now you bring in these two big and athletic, driven. You know, the Raiders have picked some guys who made that drive and being out. And they were both these guys high motor, high competitive. But I just thought the East was a steal. Then 6th. When you're looking at 6 rounders, these are guys who make the practice.
Defense have to account for as many different weapons as possible here early.
You know, you go on that forward, you don't have a fifth round, you're rolling the dice, you don't expect him to stick there. And here's a guy with a 4th round grade. And you're able to just nab twice steal. And so, or if you grade him, you expect him to make the roster. Right. And you can make a second, 6th round, 32nd, new for play QB, wide receiver, Tommy Mellon. Remember, Mellon was a little different, but this is a guy who wins these small school plays. He can just do it. Since going to be a punt return, kick return, I never see it. Right there's an expected to make the team. He's going to immediately battle Dylan Olave. I don't know that it's going to be a real big battle. Love Dylan Olave again. Love again. This is a slam. But I think Dylan's going to be day one to make it hard for Olave to make the roster. I do believe that. And so, you just instantly come in and this guy's going to be able to do a lot. He understands he's not a quarterback. He's got tremendous equipment. And so, again, here's a situation trying to make practice, but I think it's going to make the roster. The way to think about the screens you got, what you're going to be. You got bashed. You got foundation. You got tripped up. And Tommy. There's 5 receivers. And remember, those Tommy does kickoffs and punt returns. And if he's also going to play that receiver spot, that means you don't have to have 2 rosters. One for your dedicated kick return and punt return, and then so you have one of the kicks that carries 6 receivers. No, they still play. They've got some other receivers on the roster. But the point is, white is better than you have to.
I don't understand why they keep sneaking into play like the ass. Okay, I'll be the judge if this game is real or not. Okay, we need to get some more guys. We got 8 guys now. We're going to push them back. Let's see if we can get this over here. You know what? I really want to get to the 999. We got to get through these blocks here, but we got to make sure that we're also keeping all the other guys back. Okay, nice. We got that gun. Now can we get the big gun? We're going to need the mini gun for the big guy. Let's see if the mini guns can take this. Nice, we'll get it. Okay, let's go. 999. So coming straight. Can we get 999 before he gets us? We can do it.
We got him with a punt fake.
Ready to go once more as the kicks away. CD Lamb there to return it.
The football addiction can be a struggle. Some kick because that is fun. Just or being treated morphine and supplicate make up your kidney.
What's up, John?
This is the medicine give morphine. Give morphine is going to reduce the risk of a lot of
Supplicate will cause harm benefits injected in vein. As well as lots of programs. Get emergency right away if you're fit, dizzy, sleepy, confused, red problems, sleep, talking, or feeling suicide. Don't take expenses, and other possibilities. This can cause severe drowsiness, reduce awareness, sleeping problems, and emergencies from this. This isn't a full list of risks and side effects. Talk to your doctor and read Facebook for more information.
As a doctor of soul, you can help you.
In motion now, it's Collins. Here comes the blitz as he looks to throw.
Next.
He'll throw it left and has his running back. They face second and 7.
7 steals. Those are guys drafted.
It's just Sims.
You found. Okay, so then you get into the 6th round, 30, 215 overall, and then get Campbell Miller. He's a quarterback out of North Dakota State. He's like 45 and 40 in his career. He's a winner. He's a high competitor. Huge ability to complete the ball and make moments. He is a pocket passer with a caveat. It is and remember, holds the supply. Takes offline. If you look at who I believe is the best player, Val, if you look at Josh Allen, who I believe is second, I think Jalen Hurts will really end up for second. If it's not, if Jalen's not second, he's third.
Just take what the defense is giving you. When you can stay ahead of the chains
And I think right now I'd still give it to Josh, but Jalen is a close second. All three of those men stay in the pocket as long as possible and then run when they have to, even though they all can. Now, Cam Miller, and if you've not watched a lot of North Dakota State games, I really encourage you to start watching those games. Great football there for the Bison. But one of the things that he does is early in his career, he would stay in the pocket and he wouldn't move. As he got comfortable, he used his feet. So this is a guy with an ability. How many times have we watched Aiden from? Maybe you might have a lot. And we've seen Aiden O'Connell ran and the way he has here. And that's because he gets here and Josh McDaniels didn't want him to. They're going to want him to run as a last resort. They really like Cam. They brought him in for a top 30 visit. They really liked him a lot. And so, I believe this is Honda opinion that they thought real power with Cam and they would be happy to play. And it worked out. And they just had some other guys drop that they didn't expect to drop. And you see how you see Miller still on the board. You're like, okay, I'm going to take these guys because people are dropping. And so they were thrilled with Cam. The Raiders did not have a 6th-round grade in the goal, I can tell you that factually. And so to be able to get him in the 6th round was a steal. Was a steal. Am I saying he's the Raiders quarterback of the future? No, I am not. Am I saying he could be? I'm going to get to Aiden. And then the last player, the 7th rounder, again, I would expect your 6th or 7th year, because your hope is that they make the practice squad. They were getting it fully. And I had a chance to talk to him tonight. Many of you, PJ Flynn, the coach of Minnesota, which is a really good friend of mine, been a friend a long time. I love PJ. I love Mr. Coach. I love Miss as a man, great father, tremendous husband. He's a guy I would let my kid play for in a heartbeat. A lot like Pete Carroll, wants competition in everything. Wants his guys competing all the time, and yet he's a real upbeat, encouraging coach, not afraid to get in your face. But so I'm very familiar with Cody. Because I watch pretty much all of PJ's games because he's a friend. 5 or 6 games. The other games because I have my friends and I want to watch every game. Cody is a super smart, ethereal player. Again, in the second time. There was not any chance. And so they're going we got him hired. Let's take him. And then they're thinking, Cody's there.
Thanks for the free playoff win.
Backers that they like.
Get better with it, 4-3-6-1.
I think Lindbergh is still there. What in the world? I even asked Brandon and Smitek about it after the game. Go watch the after the thing. Go watch the film about it. I mean, he had to be stunned he was there. And so they get Lindbergh. Let me tell you, we're the green dot 5 years at Minnesota. And he's a guy who understands the playbook and the defensive scheme. He has a mentality of a Spills. Okay? Am I saying he's... I would challenge you to go back, find his film, watch how he's moving. He's moving defensive linemen, he's moving linebackers. There was one game, I think it was Purdue. Maybe it was Oregon. I think it was Purdue, I don't know. But there were games where he's moving defensive backs, and he's a white. Usually you want your white kind of watching to have a safety. Ronnie Steps did last year. But he's before the injury in the year before. But he's moving guys behind him. It's like he has eyes in the back of his head. He's a sure tag. They were so. In fact, I was told that when he was there, when they picked the 7th round, that it was a very happy. So, again, Sports Illustrated National gives him as a beat writer. I'm going to give this class. It's only grade doesn't matter right now. It's only you're only grading on physical potential. And let's be frank, the only grade that matters is after 3 years. So great today. Not saying this is where I expect them to be in 3 years. It's saying it's not saying this is what the grades go in 3 years. This is where they project. So we come back in 3 years and say, okay, this is where I'm projected, and it ended up being an A, or an A minus, or an A plus, or it stays at an A plus grade. It's it goes below. The class didn't pan out. You can't blame the Raiders. If the Raiders have the coach, the facilities, everything that's needed, and the class doesn't have it. I mean, the players have some say in this too, as strong as they want to. So I thought this was a terrific class. And there are a bunch of UFAs out there. There are a bunch. Again, I told you one. I told you in his long career, he doesn't remember this many guys with draftable grades still being available. So, I'm telling you, big day. Very, very big day for your Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm telling you this, NFL standards, I just got facts, a text. I asked a friend of mine, if you're a respected NFL executive looking at the Raiders Hall in time, it will be a great you need to put in busted. So I got to make sure this man has a tendency to have some colorful language. This is what he said. I give it a B plus Hondo. Several guys in there with him. Unbelievable value and grade. This was a very good draft. This is what I expect from a John Spytek led front office. That's a good one. Forget anymore why we're talking over here to you, but so I'm going to handle it more next week after I talk to everybody. I have some specific questions that I want to ask them about this class. But again, a couple of guys, my initial reaction was a little bit of a rage. When I talked to NFL people, that was not the perception. I want to go back and talk about Tyree for a second. The Raiders were all in. This guy's a dude. Okay? And there were a couple of teams, but only a couple, that told me they thought the Raiders reached because of this injury. not most, every medical doctor who works on NFL people that I'm friends with told me they thought it was a reach, but the Raiders were convinced. So you know what? Okay, he's a dude. And we'll judge it after 4 years. Or 3. But I'm telling you, the defense and the Raiders, there were the he was considered by many teams talking about Tyreek doing this talent. Now, I think that's well, we'll talk about it in this fourth year and we'll get into more detail, but there you go. I give it a B plus. I thought it was a tremendous draft, and I think leading the FA class has potential to be worse. I would just say if you are a marginable player on the Raiders or a practice squad guy, I would be concerned about my job. The Raiders just brought in a bunch of competitors. Lunch. I have a buddy who was on the Notre Dame team when Lou Holtz took over at Notre Dame. And Lou Holtz gets there, and I said, I asked him one time, tell me about that transition. And he said, the players that Lou brought in were like the players that were at Notre Dame, and we could easily, quickly tell. Now we know why our coach got fired. And he asked him, how'd you react? And he goes, I just tore down. And that decided to work with these guys. He was able to be successful in the league, but I think a couple things happened. A couple things happened. Raiders got significantly better as far as talent. But they also sent a message. Most of the players on this team don't need a message. Max doesn't need a message. Adam Butler doesn't need a message. Tyree Wilson, Hardy doesn't need a message. Toby Myers, there's much of that thing you get into because I'm like somebody out there for Hunter said they needed a message. They sent a message before there was the response. We're coming for your job. And if you're going to pick up a bunch of new DFAs and somehow get them out of the practice squad or even get a couple of them to make your team, it makes your salary cap get that much better, and the Raiders are already in good shape. So I think that was great. Also, I had one other thing. It was not an interview, sir. And he said, I did see you get a chance to chat with Abe Brown today. He was absolutely phenomenal. We didn't talk anything about football. In fact, we talked about faith. And I just heard a story of his faith, how it's impacted fans' life. And I'm going to tell you my secret. It's bad. Abe and I share that. So, but I've been telling you, first about there were reports that the Raiders would trade Abe, and I said, Max, and everybody in this roster was available for trade. There was trade and that was a percent but he had worked with Tom Brady this summer, and they like him, and the Raiders were not shocked. I told you that, so I don't think anybody should be shocked that he's here working hard for building today, and I'm telling you, he looked awesome. It was the first time that I've seen him, and he filled out his hoodie. And I said, good man. And again, it's not an interview, so like what he said, but not because it was anything super secret. I just, out of respect for anybody in the NFL, I tell them if I don't have a camera, something right.
Nice field position for the
As
Jets
I
as
say,
they come up first and 10.
first was about I'm going to use anonymously, but it's I'm the one that I can use what I want to be. That was not the case.
3 yards
It
on
was
the
just
first down
a
play.
commercial,
That brings up second
but
and
he
7.
looked fantastic. I know he's worked hard. Big good for him. And anybody that thinks he's not better, and I'm counting agree with them enough.
Bring him down, but that is a big gain. And
Say I'm not giving up on Aiden O'Connor
the Jets take their first time
at all.
off.
And doesn't mean that they're going to trade him. Somebody showed us.
He finds space into the
But
red zone.
I'm telling you, they have not given up on the young man, and neither should you.
All right,
Gino's the starter. There is no pretense or pretending. They're going into the OTAs and mini games. Gino's the guy. But I don't even think you should. I do not think that Aiden will beat him. That does not mean they've given up on Aiden. So, good day here for the Silver Black. And a lot more good stuff coming up from us. So thank you to all of you who shared the draft with me. And I appreciate it. God bless you. Wonderful day. See you next time.
He wasn't scared of being naked in front of the school. He was scared of being seen as fans, even though he was secretly a family.
Offense on the field. They're going to go for 2. This is caught. And he will reach the end zone.
This is Cooper doing the Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SL, host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider podcast. I am here inside the Raiders facility, literally just moments ago. Pete Carroll and John Spivak addressed the media after the first round. This is the first round, day one recap. We're going to talk about what went into GT, what were some of the things that happened, all of that, how did that occur, and then we'll get a little bit to tomorrow. And the first thing I want to address, that I promised you all that I would after day one, was John Spivak at the press conference. John Spivak was asked a question about national team, and very quietly, be careful, and the mics picked it up. Everybody was wondering, oh, is that a smoke screen? Is that a smoke screen? Somebody said to me, I don't have no smoke screen. You have, and not mocking GT after you mocked him early. And what went on? So to tell you particularly because I would texted somebody in the building, and I told you that I would address it after, and now you're going to know why I addressed it after. It was not a smoke screen. He was just generally really excited about it. And they were just hoping people would just think, oh, these guys have been around a long time. It was a smoke screen. It's just literally the way Pete Carroll is. He just loves the game. And it was hilarious. I had not been mocking JT to the Raiders at all, because they thought he was going to be gone. They loved him. They thought he was. And there was a couple guys that they would have taken before him that were not there, but they loved JT. And they didn't think a couple guys ahead of them that they had ahead of them would be there. So they thought, man, maybe a chance. But they knew teams were looking to move up to try to get a GT. The Cowboys had looked. The Bears had made some calls. One other team. So there was a lot of concern with them that they were not going to be able to get GT. Additionally, there were some people that thought Jacksonville. Now, I was told that Jacksonville could not get Travis Hunter, that they were going to take GT, and that's kind of what the Raiders thought was going to happen. They were super excited about him, and they really liked him, but they did not think they were going to get him. So there was great surprise that he was there. So that is a good thing for the Raiders. This is a guy that again, the only concern about him, and there's only one, is the length of his arms and fumbling issues. They believe that's something that they can work on and fix. I cannot confirm this because I've not used a tape measure. I was told that he has a very highly acclaimed running back in his past that had similar issues. They were able to fix it. Again, I haven't taken a tape measure and taped the play and measured the player, and I've not been able to find a measurement in that player, but I'm working on it. But they really liked him when they saw the film. What was so great is when they met with him, and his character and competitiveness really just brought it all out. He comes here, he's with the players, visit, and we went to Top Golf. He was just super competitive, but every time it was over, he was kind of leading the group. They loved the way he talked about his family, the way that his dad was one of our American heroes. God bless our soldiers and our sailors, all of the military. A lot of you guys watch this podcast. God bless each and every one. They just were impressed. Everywhere they turned with him, it was a thumbs up. And the only thing was now, remember, there were a lot of people that didn't like Drew Brees. There was the long about Drew because his size, but he improved ability to play within his size. So although it wasn't ideal, he improved and he could adapt. Remember Jim Hammond, who made the one baseball pitcher, one-handed baseball pitcher. Well, okay, he had an area, and I'm not saying that his arms are equivalent to not having a hand, but that was Jim Abbott's weakness, but Jim Abbott was able to recover and be great.
It's all over. Get this. Or this. First of all, okay.
That is just something you never see in this league. That's a complete failure of operation, not just by the returner, but the return team.
Sir, that would be guaranteed work every single time. You know, you know. And if you don't know, then I'll tell you right now, we choose a telephone service that provides easy and affordable access to ED medication, tablets, and they ship it right to your front door. Like a leak, you make your first time. Stay spicy.
It will be pitcher. So this is bad. He will be proven. He has proven an ability to deal with that. And they thought it was fixable. So the Raiders go on, yeah, this is a name. This is a guy named the top 5 Raider. In fact, the Raiders had a rating, which is free. So they would have loved to have taken anywhere. They explored, and they felt the price was too high, and there were too many other good backs. If he didn't work out, they loved the very him. I'm going to tell you right now, they loved the very him. If they would have gone on this trip with Marion, actually they would have been thrilled. Now they loved Ashley more, so they did not have their routine. Now staying on that thread with the thing that stood out for them, like I've already told you, was the character part. But then the other thing that they really liked about him is his ability to identify things quickly. It's one thing to see something, it's another to react quickly. And they were very impressed with how quickly he saw things. And how much that really and standing in front of him. Do you have the ability to get the ball and push to where that guy's going to be there soon? And you never know. They really thought he was exceptional. From Mary was exceptional then too. They thought he was exceptional. The only guy with that type of vision, other than Mary was when John Kids they thought had that same ability as well. Now, I talked with Ashley and I asked, you're known for a high work ethic and works hard worker, but you would just make sense of the wrong. So we got work. And he said everything. Very okay. And he just talked about everything. A lot of guys get paid when they think he's arrived. A couple of things I want to point out. As you go along, I mean, right here. I want to focus on here are some interesting things that are available. I told you about Bill Johnson. Now we're concerned about this. They dropped him to a third in the first round grade. He's there and available. Okay, that is a really, really big deal. I'm going to tell you right now, I will not be shocked if the Raiders pick him tomorrow. Another guy they love, Mike Green, the edge rusher from Marshall. Another guy they really like is a guy that I had on a couple of times, Jaden Higgins, the wide receiver on Iowa State. Really liked him. Another guy that I'm going to give you. Just keep an eye on this guy. But take Ratledge out of Georgia. They like him. But there's a guy that I think you've got to keep an eye on.
This is Google Pixel 9a with Gemini. Right now it's free at Verizon. With plans.
I think you've got to keep an eye on Ronte Mercer. He's a big offensive tackle out of Minnesota. There were several, not half, but I'm going to say 40% of the teams I talked to that had a first-round grade on him. He is a real good player, a stud player. Now, there's some defensive tackles that are out there as well. So there's a lot of talent. There's a ton of first-round. Everybody right there, I just mentioned to you. Not everybody, but well, a couple of them, everybody. But every name I just mentioned has a lot of teams with first-round grades. There's funny. I believe the Raiders are going to be working the phones tomorrow morning, not necessarily tonight, but they're going to be working the phones, trying to trade him. Just waiting to see on this thing. There is a lot of talent. There is some big-time defensive talent that's going to go in the third round here, too. And because of the way teams draft, maybe even better. Spy technically made a comment that there was some bad things, but he just goes, I wish there would have been more reaches, bad drafting. But I thought several teams tonight had really good drafts, and several teams that traditionally don't had some good drafts. There was not a huge run on quarterbacks as you go into that, which is what we've been telling you. There's only two that universally first round grade. I'm going to tell you this about Shedeur Sanders, that I know hurt him. There was a lot of people that were turned off at what they felt was arrogance in interviews. His dad, a lot of people told me this, that it didn't help him. His dad's out there saying, you're going to get a quarterback who's going to change your franchise. Okay, well, 60% of first-round quarterbacks don't. So if he fails, are you going to deal with Dion calling out your coaching staff? And then you're going to deal with fans and fire him, bringing Dion. There was a lot of people that felt like it didn't hurt him, but that Shador hurt himself, and potentially Dion did. I'm not a general manager. I'm just telling you what I have been hearing. That people didn't think he was a first-round rated guy, and for whatever reason, they had him marked down out of the first round. And now we're just going to see how this thing all plays out. I fully expect him to go wrong, and it'd be foolish for him not to. But those are legitimate things that I've been talking to you about. People thought I was picking on the kid. I wasn't. But you just saw. You saw with Will Johnson. When I told you there was concern about him not running, you just thought. There was, I told you there were some people, I told you just a couple weeks ago, some people saying maybe some guys are going to back away from taking some quarterback risks just because of what's out there next year. That's what you saw play. So, there you go. That's how this whole thing is panned out. Raiders, A+, GT. And he did not have 75% of the teams that I talked to that had him for the dude grade. The Raiders loved him. It's a guy they wanted, and they were super excited to get him. And they did. So I think if you're a Raider tonight, you are very excited about where this team is at. I think you're super excited about where this team maturation process is. They still need a receiver. They still need some defensive line help. They still need some defensive backfield help, a linebacker. There's a lot of need in offensive linemen. If that's the BPA, they're not picking for me. But if BPA is tied, the need will be the tiebreaker. I think tomorrow is going to be a massive day in the future of Raider Nation. A massive day. There is a load of immense talent. Multiple. I'm going to, I texted some people, but I wanted to get this pod out as quick as possible, so I didn't hear back from anyone before the pod. But I made 9 texts asking people how many first round players do you still have on board. So I'll either write that or tweet that, or I'll probably write it, but I'll do one or the other, just letting you know who's out there. But there's a lot of talent out there in the Raiders group. I can't remember this year's but anything can happen. If they fall, we'll be shocked. The Raiders will be able to trade. So we'll see. Thanks everybody for joining me again here in the city. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day. God bless everybody.
Jack believes the key to rising and shining is dining. So kick off your day with 2.
Another win, fellas.
$5.55.
Oh, we like right there. Oh, I'm in the Super Bowl. Shit. Already? I'll get my little 1 coin player for the day. We got 89. Got some 97 upgrade token. Put it on Peterson. At least for now. So I get Genty, and then once I get Genty, I'm gonna take that token, put it on Gates. Got to figure out the other third tight end I'm gonna rock, but pretty solid right now, man. We undefeated this season. Looking nice. I forgot my dude sent me an invite, bro. I'm just sitting here playing. Told him to send me a party. I'll be forgetting.
Please leave your message for
I'll give him a sec. Give me one sec, fellas. Waiting. Probably give it a breather, fellas, and then that way I don't have a lot of dead air time. When he joins, I'll reboot the stream.